Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So it's another green day. Today things are looking quite good, and I'm here to talk about why there are a lot of buy signals that are flashing green right now, and that's a really good thing. Okay, that's usually a precursor to some big moves to the upside. So let's talk about these, and let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome. We're starting on the day a little bit higher, but still in the 105 range, 105.6. That's good, but we do see green across the board, so that's good. Is this a precursor to bigger moves today? Well, quite possibly. We got a lot of things going on right now. The U.S. market is in the green. Okay, one of the reasons is because you see this breaking news. Trump and President Xi, they spoke last night or this morning, whatever. That's a good thing. Everyone wants to see the U.S. and China come to agreement, all right, and get things done. I think everyone wants to see that. So that's encouraging. That is very encouraging. And of course, there's other trade deals waiting to be made. But, you know, on a macro front, like I've been saying, not so good. Last night, I made a big deal about this as well. Yesterday, too. You know, on a macro front, things aren't looking so great. Our economy, rates, bonds, all this stuff, not looking so great. Okay, but we may have, you know, like a catalyst coming up, okay, or a savior that may be coming, and that's Fed Chair Powell, right? People are waiting for him to cut the Fed fund rate and kind of save everything. And yesterday we saw like a jobs number that was absolutely horrible. So that gave us a little breath of life that maybe he will be cutting. Maybe not this month, maybe not next month, but the month after that. But the hope is that he cuts sooner than later, because all the other central banks have been cutting. Today, the ECB decides to cut their rate by 25 basis points. Okay, so now they're down to 2%. This is making it 8 straight cuts. While here in the U.S., we have not been making any cuts recently. So the hope is, with poor economic numbers, like poor jobs report, and all the other central banks cutting, that we may be getting a cut too. Right? That's the hope. That's the hope. But if we don't, and we continue to have these elevated rates, it's going to push the economy further south, further red. Although that could just drive more people to Bitcoin, right? That's the thing. Speaking of trade deals, Germany is, their chancellor is going to meet with Trump. So maybe there's a trade deal that comes out of this too. Right? So there's still a lot of deals waiting to be made. But, like I've been saying, the poor macro conditions are driving people to Bitcoin. A lot of talk about this bill, this big, beautiful bill. No one seems to like it except the people that voted for it. And I'm not even sure they realize what they voted. There's something in there in the new big beautiful bill. I don't know if you guys know this. It's controversial because it has nothing to do with the deficit or the spending or anything. This bill has this clause about AI in there. Right? Somehow it was like filibustered in there. It has nothing to do with the economy or anything like that. But in the bill, it says the states have to turn over their AI rights for the next 10 years to the federal government. So the states lose all control over any AI say for the next 10 years. Do you know how far AI will progress in the next 10 years? It's very controversial. And I've heard some Congress people that now have come out and said, oh, I didn't know it was in there. You know, like, I don't agree with that. I didn't know it was in there. Like, it was kind of like hidden in there. The way AI is progressing now, who knows where it's going to be in like even a year or 2 years, let alone 10 years. We may have sentient AI in 10 years. We may have a Skynet, 10.0 by then. And, there's a lot of scary thoughts about if the federal government controls AI, what can they do with it? Can they spy on people? Can they collect all the data? They can do a whole bunch of stuff that the states have no control over. So that I found out was also in the bill. And I don't know why that's in the bill. That has nothing to do with everything else that's in the bill. It's actually quite alarming. But, you got guys like Elon now that's coming out and saying, well, this is a stupid bill. You got some other Congress people coming out and saying this is a stupid bill. It is stupid in many ways. It's going to increase our deficit for sure. It's going to increase our spending, increase our debt, everything that we want to go against as a nation. And that's why Jack Dorsey, co-founder and ex-CEO of Twitter, who has his own company now and many other companies, social company, and of course Square and everything else, telling Musk, hey, choose Bitcoin. I've been tweeting at him too. Not that he's going to respond to me, but still, for a person that claims to know a lot about money because he's a co-founder of PayPal, he doesn't seem to quite understand Bitcoin and hasn't turned over yet, which is strange. Tesla does hold Bitcoin. SpaceX does hold Bitcoin. He should be embracing Bitcoin a lot more. A lot more. He at least open up Bitcoin for as a payment. I know Saylor's been tweeting at him. Everyone has. He's choosing to ignore it for some reason. He needs to come around. He needs to fully endorse Bitcoin, especially now, since he has now spoken up about this bill too. And there may be a big divorce between him and Trump. And there's a lot of rumors about how Trump is not very happy over this and stuff. But still, Trump has chosen Bitcoin. The administration has chosen Bitcoin. This is one thing that they can line still. Adopt Bitcoin. Right? Like so many others. Now you got South Korea's new president, President Lee, that is following the same footsteps. He wants to get their federal pension to invest in Bitcoin. Basically, it's like a reserve, right? It's like creating a reserve. Their pension is like $800 billion. He wants to put some of that money into Bitcoin. He also wants to legalize Bitcoin ETFs and remove a lot of the restrictions that are in the country. So they are getting ready to go all in on Bitcoin and crypto as well. So very positive. It's not just a U.S. thing. I know I tend to concentrate on U.S. and most of you guys are in U.S., but still, around the world, all the shenanigans that's going on with money, with inflation, with rates, with spending, deficits, stuff like that, exist in every single country out there. And that is why so many are turning to Bitcoin. And now even countries are turning to Bitcoin. Big, legitimate countries. All right, what else is there? Today, Circle goes public. So in case you guys are looking for another stock to invest, Circle, who is the founder of USDC, the second biggest stablecoin out there, they're going public today. And at a valuation of 6.9 or 6.9, yeah, 6.9 billion dollars, right? So that's good. Another major crypto company, going public, and this has a lot of repercussions because obviously stable coins like the Genius bill Stablecoin regulations, a big thing right now, big thing being talked about, trying to be pushed through. But we know stablecoins are huge. It's going to get bigger. Even like the likes of Visa and MasterCard are testing stablecoins because they're so much more efficient, they're cheaper, and you got these networks that are, of course, decentralized around the world that can't be shut down, that have a ton of redundancy built in and transparency and immutability, all these things. It's going to be a big thing going forward. And plus, you know, Trump has said that he's going to say no to CBDCs. That's a big deal too, right? Utilizing stablecoins that are regulated in the U.S. rather than the U.S. coming out with a federal CBDC, like a digital dollar, for example. It's going to be better than that. So that's good. All right. UK. This is around the world. Today's around the world news. You got a gold miner in UK now that says they're going to take some of their profits or revenue and buy Bitcoin with it. So obviously, times are changing. You got big gold bugs, even like Robert Kiyosaki, who now believes Bitcoin is better. Now you got gold miners, okay, that are taking some of their money and putting it in Bitcoin. Like, read the room. Things are changing. Even gold bugs, some of the biggest gold bugs are now turning Bitcoin. The only person is Peter Schiff, right? And that's just, I really believe it's just an act at this point. But everyone is turning to Bitcoin. Fantastic stuff. Hong Kong is also going to legalize Bitcoin crypto derivatives trading. I think this will actually happen in the US soon too. Like right now, you got all the major exchanges that don't offer derivative trading in the US because of the SEC before. But I honestly think they're going to legalize it. There's no reason why. You already have a lot of derivatives, okay, with like options and ETFs. You have 2x, 3x ETFs and options and futures that exist. They're all forms of derivatives. So why not have leverage trading as well, right? With Bitcoin and crypto, it makes sense. If people want to get liquidated, that's their choice. But I think that's going to be coming soon too. Let's see. What else is there? You got Bitcoin miner BitMine raised $18 million to buy Bitcoin. Their stock gets listed also, right? So they're among the many miners that are not only mining and holding, but they're also raising money to not buy more equipment, but to buy Bitcoin directly. Think about that. They don't even think they have enough. It's not easy to mine Bitcoin, but these guys are among the biggest miners on the planet, and they're raising money to buy more Bitcoin. Again, that tells you something. It's a race. It's a race to accumulate as much as you can while you can. While things are still reasonably cheap, okay, even though we're above $100,000, and many people think it's not reasonable anymore, George. It's too expensive. Everyone thinks that every cycle until we go higher. And then people regret not buying more. Okay, but right now, if you're looking at the accumulation score among all the different classes of Bitcoin holders, every single one is in heavy accumulation mode. From people that have less than one Bitcoin to all the way to people that hold over 10,000 Bitcoin. Everyone is accumulating, and that is the right move. We're definitely not in some sort of mini winter. You could see from January all the way to May, heavy red, right? No one was accumulating back then. I take that back. Of course, there were people accumulating, but less. But you could see how it's all shifted, right? Most people know something big is coming. That's why there's so many buy signals being flashed right now, flashing green. Hash ribbons is one of them, telling people, hey, we're about to go up. This is one of those times that things are looking quite well. And here's another one. Now, this is a very telling story. This is basically measuring volume during bull runs. Okay, we haven't seen a low volume like this since 2014. Look at that. Look at that square on the bottom left-hand side. Okay, when the volume dropped very, very, very low, and that was at the end. Okay, that was at the bottom of the 2013 cycle. So that was actually at the bottom of 2014 when Bitcoin turned around. But we haven't been that low in volume since then. And then the time before that, or after that, you look at the bottom of 2017 when we hit $3,000. We also had a volume low. Okay, like one of those periods, you could see the second red square in the middle of the screen there, right? We're like right there, but we're not at the bottom of any cycle, right? We're not at a bottom, like we're not coming off of the 2021 cycle or anything. We're in a bull market and we're seeing this kind of volume, which means, man, you better strap on and get ready, because look at all those previous times when we hit bottom. We went up 93, 300, 3,000, 500, 200, 100% gains that followed all these like low volume periods, okay? And we're in one of the deepest low volume periods ever. So imagine what's coming next. It could be a really, really wild ride to the upside. So get ready, guys. Get ready. Great things are coming. Very great things are coming. So you just have to stay strong, DCA, and HODL. That's it. That's it. That's the winning strategy. All right. Today turned a little red. However, let's see. Robinhood is still green. MicroStrategy and Coinbase barely in the red. So we could definitely still turn around again. But yeah. All right, guys. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see. George, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for game 1 tonight? Probably a 1. First of all, I didn't know it was tonight. Second of all, I have no interest in watching the Pacers play OKC. 0. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I saw Carl, new member, welcome. AC asks, why don't you ever talk about the bad bear market to come? Because we're not going to have a bad bear market anytime soon. We're still in a bull market. We're like halfway through. H bar Dano, should I move my Hedera to Sui? I mean, your name has H bar in it. Why are you asking me about H bar, man? You've been in here asking about H bar for a long time. You should be a H bar maxi. So you tell me. Small market teams are different in 2025. How are they different? There's not one superstar among the two teams that I'm excited about. Shea Alexander, in my opinion, is not a superstar. And I don't really care about watching him. And I don't care about watching Halliburton or Siakam or Holmgren, any of those guys. I'm not excited to watch any of them play. Sammy, do I own a Rolex? Is it really a status and statement? It depends on which circles you're with. I have several Rolex. In normal life, 99.9% of the time, you'll never see anyone else wear a Rolex. It's very hard. Okay, so it is a status in that perspective. However, if you hang out with a lot of crypto bros, okay, either at a conference or I don't know, at a party or whatever, everyone's wearing one minimum, and a lot of people are wearing even higher end ones, like higher end watches like Pateks and APs, and sometimes you'll see Richard Mille, you know. So it depends on who you hang out with. But I do like Rolex because the name recognition, and they hold their value forever. Like you could have a 1-year-old Rolex or a 20-year-old Rolex. The price doesn't go down. It stays. So I like that. I don't like things that depreciate a lot. This may look bad, guys, because I'm zoomed in. When you zoom out like this, it hasn't moved at all. So, guys, stop panicking. But I think it's just because the US market is turning red now. Pom, just don't argue with me, okay? If you don't know what you're talking about, don't argue with me. Rolexes for sure hold their value. If you don't hold one, if you don't own one, don't talk about it. You know, the same thing. Like when back in the day when I said I was going to buy a Ferrari, and you got people in here that was arguing, "Oh, you can't get a Ferrari. They won't sell you one." You got all these people that have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm like, I went in there, I put down a down payment, and I bought one. And you got these guys like, no, you didn't. I don't believe you. They don't sell to like normal people. You have to be on a list, or you have to be on, invited, blah, blah. You got all these people that would argue. And then once I got it, like, what is there to argue about? It's like, guys, chill. Carl, new member, welcome. There's another Carl, two Carls in a row. Second Carl with a $20 super chat. It was great meeting you in Vegas at the whale night. We didn't talk long, but you gave me some words of encouragement as I'm starting my own YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. I don't remember. I'm glad we met. I don't remember I gave you words of encouragement, but if you are starting your channel, just know that you have to treat it like a job. Like, you don't know how many times I wake up in the morning, I'm like, why am I waking up in the morning and doing this? I really don't want to, but I do. But it becomes part of you. It becomes routine, and you just want to be very consistent. You want to outwork everyone. That's the only thing you can really control, is how hard you work. And then focus on like being a little bit different than everything else. Like, you have to have your content be a little bit slightly different than everyone else. Otherwise, you're going to be lost in the fold. Cam, I don't know. That joke was not very funny, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Flare? I have no comments about Flare. You King Mike. Do you think some of the smaller projects you mentioned will still do well this cycle? Like Say, Rose, Pith. Yes. They're all great projects. There's no reason why they can't do well this cycle. Does the year of Ferrari count? Any year is a classic. You know, back in the day before COVID, you did have a lot of Ferraris depreciate quite a lot. But after COVID, things have changed. Even like the oldest Ferraris, even ones that were not popular before, have gone up double or triple in price, and now there's like no cheap Ferraris, none whatsoever. Um, you know, back in the day, like 20, what is it, 2017, 2018, I bought a Ferrari 360. It was a nice one, 2001. You know, red tan interior, and I bought that for $50,000, and I sold it in like 2018 or 2019 for like 73,000. So I actually made money on that car. But since then, like 360s have gone up to like 90K. Like you can't even find anything below 90K unless it has super high miles. So it's like everything has gone up after COVID. Any really collectible things have gone up. Car also NSXs, same thing. Yeah, first gen NSX. If you have a first gen NSX with a 5-speed, it's like $100,000. 100 and 120, a really good condition one is even higher. If you get like a '03 NSX, it's like 150, $160,000. It's nuts. Go with Boris. Hey George, I've been watching since 2019. Started a travel YouTube channel. Congrats, congrats. Again, same advice. When you're doing YouTube, you can't treat it like a hobby. Okay, if you're going to do it like once in a while, like once a month or twice a month, it's not going to work. You're not going to succeed. You're competing with millions of others that are doing the same thing. You have to try to outwork everyone, and you have to find your own niche, so to speak. Why are you different? Why do people want to watch you versus someone else? Could be your personality, could be your content, could be like, you know, how hard you work, could be your thumbnails, it could be your title selection, your topics. You know, you got to make sure that you're a little bit different and hopefully a little bit better. Reza, I do ship to the UK. If you're talking about hold a sign, yes. Ryan says, I do a video twice a month to succeed. Every influencer is different. I guess it's your definition of succeeding. And what kind of videos do you do? I certainly don't imply that you have to be like me and do like 2 videos a day. That's excessive, and I don't recommend that. And for most people, you will get burned out. But I would argue like you want to do at least like 2 or 3 times a week. I think that's pretty normal. What do you think about James Wynn trades? I think that's a big reason why this week and last week we had so much volatility. Is because he was daring the market makers, and every time he puts out those big 40x trades, the market goes down and liquidates him. It happened yesterday too. We went to 104 or something because that was his liquidation point, 104.7 or something. Like right now, I would argue we're not even going up because market makers are trying to teach him a lesson. I don't know. His trades are so big that they actually care. So he should actually do it in secret. He shouldn't do it so like openly and blatantly. Ferrari 296 are losing 100K in their first year. No, they're not. No, they're not. You're looking at it from their elevated price. When 296 came out, their MSRP is like 300K. And then when they came out, people were reselling them for like 500, 600, 700K. A lot of people were buying them at elevated prices. But you look at 296s, you don't see a 200K 296. They're not 100K below. They're just back to their original price. Same thing with the SF90s. They're like 400, 500K cars, but people were selling them at 700, 800K. Now they're just back to normal. During COVID, things were too elevated, too hot. Crypto Amir. Okay, you need to stop asking about Adam. Okay. It's fine, although it's going to be held back by its inflation rate. That's really it. A clean 92 Civic is like 20K today. Hey, if you got a really clean Civic, like a Civic hatchback from back in the day, like the Fast and Furious kinds, they're worth money too. These days, like collectible stuff are just like insanely high still. Even though they have come down in price, but like ever since after COVID, things have just changed. Brent, thank you, my man. Gabriel asked, will AVAX get back to its all-time high eventually? I like to think so. It's still very, very far off from its 2021 high. But, back in December, it made some big moves upwards, so I hope so. Dave Rowe, you should sell some t-shirts. I used to have the drop seller Spring do that for me. I don't like t-shirts so much because they fade and shrink and stuff like that. Quality makes a big difference. I'm gonna add more things to my merch store for um, you know, I've been telling you guys about CryptosRUs.com, the new website. You got a lot of tools in here. You got dashboard in here with my DCA portfolio. You got the merch with my HODL sign and the Bitcoin watches from Coin Vigilante. A lot of people enjoyed this. I put this last night, and a lot of people actually made purchases. And my HODL sign is like going nuts. My 3D printer is like running 24/7 right now. And pretty soon I'm gonna add a learn page, and that's gonna be cool. Yeah, but I'll be adding more merchandise. I don't know if I want to re-add clothing, but other cool things. Lego George. That could be a good thing. Could 3D print a minifig that says we're all George on the body. I think that would be pretty cool. I don't think I could print a bobblehead. To be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be watching the finals game today. Again, I've already said I have no interest in either team. Pomp, do you have less crypto in your net worth now than 5 years ago, or are you still heavy? Of course, now, of course, it's a lot more than 5 years ago. 5 years ago in 2020, Bitcoin was at $4,000, my man. Below 10,000, and we're above 100,000. That's 10x. I have like 100% of my net wealth in crypto right now. I have some in options, but that's it. I have no 401k, no retirement plan, nothing. It's 100% in crypto. I'm gonna try to introduce something new. Well, I guess I can't do it. I may introduce it tonight. I have a new idea for a new show, a new segment for Saturdays. I used to do Crypto Cruise. And then I kind of stopped because it was kind of like the same as Sunday Walk. Although people enjoyed it, but I want to replace Saturdays with something new. I'm gonna put on a website, hopefully by tonight, and I'll reveal it tonight on tonight's video. But on the front page here, what I'm gonna do is add another button down here. You see how there's 3 buttons: watch and join and follow us. I'm gonna put another button that says Ask George. So the idea is I want people, Q&A is one thing, right? But I want people to send a clip of themselves asking me a question, right? And I will respond to those questions in my Saturday video. Kind of like those call-in shows that like Dave Ramsey and others does. I'm gonna do something like that. I think that'll be fun, and you can ask me whatever you want. Whether I choose to answer is a different story, and whether you get selected is a different story. But I'm going to do that. I think that'll be fun, and it'll be a different thing. I think it'll be a big hit. So tonight, sometime this afternoon, I'm going to add a button here under this video that says Ask George. And when you see that and you're interested, you click into it and then submit your video. Karen, you go get a woman's BTC watch. Do they not sell any women watches? I actually didn't pay attention to that. I guess they don't, huh? Yeah, as a woman wearing a men's watch, it's quite big. I think these are sweet. I'm gonna get one of my. I'm having one of these shipped to me. Yeah, I guess they don't sell women's watches. I'm glad to bring that up. I don't know why. I guess most people in crypto are men. Yeah, it's there. I missed it. Oh, there. Women's watches. Duh. It's right there. There's only two. These don't look as good as the others. You need better. Well, I have to suggest to him he needs to come out with some better looking women watches. And I'm gonna have a CRU one created too, a very limited edition CRU one. All right, guys. So you got some buy signals flashing right now, even though today we haven't moved yet. It's just a matter of time. There's way too many good things happening, way too much buying for Bitcoin to stay stagnant much longer. So stay strong, my friends. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight. And look forward to that new button that will be added here soon, and in case you want to participate. But I'll have a bigger announcement tonight about it. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care.